And I will not make a Seth of myself, and I will not go into Sebastian right away because you wanted to go into Marcus right away the past 2 episodes.
I actually wanted Marcus to go into me.
Wow, give me 5, 7. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Oh, God. That was good. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Romancing the Monsters. I'm M.
Hi, MS.
Was that
Oh, going first. We are G.
Just going after. The guest is always last.
Okay. Hi, MS.
Okay, I need to get my giggles
This is
out.
off to a great start, I have to
Okay.
say.
I know it's great. Hi, I'm a Seth.
Who?
Hi, I messed up. That's what
Okay.
Oh, God.
All right. Hey, I'm Seth.
And today, once again, we are joined by the fabulous Gabby. Hi, how are you?
Hello. How
Welcome
are you?
back.
Ba-da-ba-ba-boo.
Making her own sound effects. Love it. Low budget. That's us.
Exactly. Hello.
How are you, G?
I'm good. How are you
Are
guys?
you okay, Seth?
She's going.
I feel like you had something stuck in your throat there for a
It
little
sounds like
bit.
you're dying.
She's going through something over there.
Guys, leave me alone.
Oh my God, this beginning of this episode is already a mess. Buckle
I know.
up, friends. This is going to be a fun one.
All right, wipe the tears.
So the reason why G is joining us once again today is because, believe it or not, we have reached the 3rd stop on our Wallflower read-along journey.
Whoop, whoop.
Today, we are discussing the book that I find very difficult to pronounce very quickly. It Happened One Autumn.
There you go.
I think I did it. I always struggle. I'm like, it happened
you
one
did
autumn.
it.
Like, it just doesn't want to come out. So, Marcus, Lillian, Seth's favorite book. S has never read this before. G has read it before. This was the second time for 3 of us.
And was just as good as the first time.
Well, you can't say that yet. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert, okay? There's a way we do things around here, G. You have to respect the rules.
Okay, sorry.
So first, Seth,
All right.
what is this book about?
All right. Well, like you said, it's Marcus Westcliff and Lillian's story.
Wait. That's not his name.
Marcus
Sorry,
was-
Marcus Lord Westcliff.
Marsden.
Yeah. Marcus Marsden Lord Westcliff.
Thank you. Gotta get it right. I just know people are gonna fact check us in these episodes. Like, if we dare to mispronounce someone's name.
Okay, in my head, I had Marcus, comma, Westcliff, you know?
Okay.
In my head, that's what I
Are
saw.
we supposed to say Marsden?
No, I mean,
Is
like,
that-
that's his last
is-
name, like the name he was born
Is
with.
either you say Marcus or you say Lord Westcliff, or you just say
Yeah.
Westcliff.
Yeah.
But his name is not Marcus Westcliff.
No.
He's got middle names.
Yeah.
Lord Westcliff is just his title.
Yeah, it's like his property, like the land that he
Yeah.
owns.
All right, so anyways, yes, we start off with Lillian. She is getting a perfume made.
Mm-hmm.
Seems special. She put some like special flower in there, and like she's off to Stony Cross, and it's in Hampshire, and we're back for a new season, and a year has passed since Annabelle has gotten married, and yeah, it's time for the Wallflowers to help Lillian find her husband. So, as always, we know Westcliff is like angry and like frustrated and just like really like antagonistic towards Lillian and like his sister
And
Olivia.
she in return.
Yes, of course, of course. And like Lillian is also very antagonistic towards Westcliff, and it's just great. Like their banter is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But like Olivia, really early on in the book, she points out the way he seems to just single Lillian out, and like it's something that she kind of like makes a note of herself. And then like it like continues on. We have Lillian and Daisy who finally arrive there, and they decide to sneak out of their rooms because Annabelle had given Daisy the shrapnel of metal that was in Westcliff's shoulder to make a wish for him. And the wish basically was for him to find someone who truly loves him. And then after that, the girls find some, stable boys. They're playing a game of rounders. And Lord Westcliff decides to join them in the game. And their story kind of gets started there because they play the game. They kind of have some sexual tension going on there. Daisy notes it. Cut to a few hours later when they have to rush back into the room because it's time for them to wake up from their nap. They obviously were supposed to be napping, but they didn't. And then Westcliff and Lillian kind of gets trapped behind like a hedge or whatever while Daisy runs forward and she gets back to the room. And that's when Westcliff takes a sniff of her perfume.
For
And
the
thus
first
starts
time.
their intense situation of him being really attracted to her and not wanting to be attracted to her. Lillian, the same thing, not wanting to be attracted to Westcliff, but they can't help it.
And then they kiss.
Yeah.
They share a passionate kiss behind a hedge. As
And
Lillian's father is pretty much walking by.
Right? And thus starts Lillian in her, I guess, pursuit to have a sponsor for the season. And she kind of blackmails Westcliff into getting his mother to be her sponsor. Well, Daisy and her sponsor. Because she wants to find a husband and she needs a sponsor to make sure that she is, I guess, quote unquote, Anglified.
Yeah. Also, they are trying to figure out if the perfume in question is some sort of aphrodisiac or if it's just a perfume. So, we shall see. We shall discuss later on. Is it or is it not? We'll see. First, how did you like it, guys?
I loved it.
Who wants to start? G, I guess.
You can go.
I loved. Oh God, S. You didn't like
I
it?
know. I'm so
What?
mad. Can we kick her out?
What are you guys talking about?
The
I
way you
just
said
G,
that, we're
you
like,
can
you can go.
Yeah, the way you said it, I was like, great. She's not
I
gonna like
didn't
this
get that
either.
vibe. I didn't get that vibe. I'm still waiting to know what means. Okay?
Yeah.
G, go ahead.
No, now I want to hear S. Go S.
No,
you're
I'm not
putting me on the
ready.
spot.
Oh, it's okay.
Go.
G, you go, and then
ahead,
S
G.
will go.
Okay, so I know I wasn't here for the first 2 episodes, but I feel like I need to just
You were here in spirit.
thanks. I just need to shout out my love for this series because it was my first taste of historical romance, honestly, thanks to M, and it changed my life. Like, let's be honest. It was a life-changing
Shout
experience.
out to me.
I remember, like, okay, I read like dark romance, lots of smut and just all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what is historical romance gonna do for me? Well, let me
Yeah.
tell you. Who would have thought a handhold without gloves was so
Hot.
like yes,
Was so
exactly.
sexy.
Sizzling. Yeah.
And an ankle, like a rub
Hot.
of the ankle.
Scandalous.
So yeah, this series like holds a special place in my heart because it was my first historical romance series, and this couple is my favorite couple. Just because of their banter, the way that like just everything about them. Like they didn't want to love each other, they didn't even want to like each other, and it was like opposites attract for real, and it just they were like they sparked. And I really, really like that.
Did this make you want to reread the rest of the books in the series?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Especially
Yeah.
because I need to see, after reading it a first time, if Devil in Winter is all the hype that somebody around here makes it out to be.
Yeah, you better shut up right now. Don't go any further than that.
But no, for sure. I think I actually might continue because there are some of the companion like spin-off series that I haven't read yet.
Have you read
Ooh.
The Hathaways?
Mm-mm. I know.
What?
Ooh.
I know. But what's funny, and you guys know this, is my mom has
Yep.
read them
Yes.
all.
Yep.
So
Yes, we love your mom.
I'm gonna try to see if she'll listen to this. So if she is, hi mom, I love you.
Hi, G's mom. We're gonna curse, okay?
Hi.
Please, we're very nice ladies.
Just cover your ears.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to finish that. And actually, I'm gonna break your heart a little bit more. I haven't read the Wallflowers Christmas either.
Oh,
Oh,
It's okay,
that's
G. I haven't
okay.
either. I haven't either. It's fine.
So with the holidays coming around, I think it's the perfect time to jump back into
Yes.
historical
Yeah.
romance. So yeah, I don't know. I loved it, and when we get into more detail, I can start gushing some more. But this book
Yay.
is my fave.
Yay! Seth, you want to go next?
S. It was supposed to be S.
Oh, S, you want to go next?
Sure.
Oh gosh.
Cringes
She hated
away.
it, and she hates
Have you girls
Westcliff.
seen my rating on Goodreads? No.
All I saw was and I spent a lot of days trying to figure out what means.
And then you scarred me for life because I was talking to Marge and she just said and I was like, great, now I'm talking to S.
You scarred us. You're scarring us with these episodes. I don't know that we're gonna make it out alive at the other end.
I don't apologize, but
Fine.
I
I will
respect that.
say that I have a list of things that I would like to mention, discuss.
Good things,
Okay.
I hope.
Yes, good things, Seth.
Okay.
I loved it.
Okay. End of the episode. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Everybody collectively take a deep breath.
I know.
Good thoughts. Good thoughts. I really love this book. Like, I was really surprised. I didn't think I was, to be honest.
Okay.
Mainly because there wasn't that much interest before.
Mhm.
Yeah, you didn't like
Yes.
Marcus very much. Well, you didn't dislike him. You just were kind of meh. Yeah.
It was indifferent.
But I ended up loving it. I ended up loving him, Lillian, their story, how it progressed.
Sebastian.
So let me just mention my things. Let me turn on my light so I can read my list. First thing is
Let me settle for this. I got my mug. I'm ready. List
first
it off,
thing.
girl.
You guys already mentioned it, but the first kissing scene where they're hiding in the hedges,
Mhm.
where he says, "Give me your mouth, your tongue."
Yeah.
And then there was the orangery. Orangery, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
The orangery scene where she dared him to put his arms around her and he pushed her up against the wall. Love that
Yeah.
scene.
Spicy, spicy.
Mhm.
Their sexual tension was amazing.
Yeah. And then we have Saint Sebastian Saint
Saint
Vincent.
He is not a saint, although
Sorry.
people
He
would.
ain't a saint, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He is freaking not. So him, we have to discuss him.
Victory dance.
There's Lillian being picked up from her horse and thrown over his
Fuck
Westcliff
yes.
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 Love that little moment.
We're gonna talk
And-
about that in detail.
Yes,
okay?
and then she calls him a son of a bitch. Love that.
Yes, and I love that, like, he hears it and, like, kind of doesn't really flinch. He's like,
He doesn't even react.
Yeah.
yeah, because she's probably said a lot. Because Lisa Claypass always says, like, Lillian said a few choice words, but, like, you know, that she
Yeah.
obviously swore.
You never know what she actually said.
Yeah.
But she actually
So-
said it. I heard the audiobook and she said it. I'm just like, oh my god, I loved it.
Yeah.
Next on the list, Sebastian St. Vincent.
Again?
And
Okay.
again, she felt St. Vincent's hand slide up lightly up her leg, the warmth of his skin sinking through the thin fabric of her knickers. As he searched for the nodding, twitching muscle, I gasped at that.
Right?
He touching her.
He went in there
He went all up in
and
there.
rubbed.
But I will admit, I love that he didn't take any advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? He's like, let me fix this girl's leg.
The true gentleman.
I mean,
In that
Say
scene.
true
In that scene. That the
Yeah.
one instance in his life.
There was the St. Vincent and Lillian kissing in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the quote where I think it's Westcliff and Lillian, where he's like, "Open for me."
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then this made me laugh because it reminded me of Simon and in his book where, so the quote is, "You've been compromised. We must marry."
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Annabelle and Simon expecting, and then chapter 24, Saint Vincent, and I just put villain with like a bunch of like exclamation points.
Yeah.
And that's it on my list.
Yay. Okay, so I'm happy you really liked it.
That's a great list. My man appears 3 or 4 times on that list. That's a good ratio for me.
Okay, he's not your man.
He's well,
He's not.
Let's not get into it right now.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's an amazing list.
You touched on some important key points.
Yes. So I'll go next. I fucking loved this book. More so than the first time. Okay. So controversy is when I went on Goodreads to like rate the book once I was done, I was going to give it 5 stars. And then I see that originally I had given this book a 3 stars. And
Oh my
I was
gosh,
like,
I'm deleting you.
Marge
from
of
life.
the past, we need a chat. I need to sit down
What were
with
you
her.
going through?
I need to. What was I going through? Who hurt me?
Right.
Like,
Right?
I was like, what is wrong with you? So I changed that real quick. I was like, the
Good,
hell?
as you should.
Yeah, because I had so much fun reading that book. Like, so much fun. Like, it's got, like, all the sexiness that you want in all the scenes that S just mentioned. But also, like, it's fun. And the characters, the banter is just masterful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Lisa Kleypas at the top of her game. And, like, just to
Yes.
think that she has a bajillion books after that. Like, just imagine how good she gets. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, she's just
Mhm.
amazing.
Mhm.
And I will say,
Oh, God.
my one point is that if you look at the list that S has, and those are kind of all my favorite scenes, it's all the either non-sexual or like sexual without it being actual sex scenes that I think are the hottest in this book compared to the actual sex scenes.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
the actual sex scenes weren't as hot for me as all the scenes where it's like they're kissing behind a hedge, or
Like the lead up.
you know, someone's lifting
Yeah.
someone's skirt, or he's throwing her on his knees. I was like, bitch, fucking spank me, thank you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those scenes are hotter for me in this book. But I fucking loved it.
I loved like all scenes because I just love them, and I just feel like their sex scenes were like great payoff for them, like, you know,
Yeah.
building up to that
Yeah.
moment. So.
Yeah. But Lillian, man, I honestly, okay, here's the deal. I always preach about my men, St. Vincent, with reason, and I think I'm right in doing so. But I will say, I've honestly neglected Lillian and Marcus, and I've rediscovered my love for them, and I've rediscovered just
good.
how amazing of characters they are. Lillian, oh my god. Amazing, fantastic, Academy Award, amazing. Marcus, fucking love him. Like, why did I forget about him? You know what I mean?
Girl, I don't
I'm gonna need you
know.
to stay in your St. Vincent corner though, because Marcus is spoken for.
We're not staying in any corner. Let me tell you something, girl. Miss Girl. No one is staying in any corner.
I'm gonna have to get the chair.
Pull out the chair, G. I'm ready.
I love how we were like, okay, maybe S will like maybe she'll like Simon or she'll like Matthew, and S is coming in here like barging through the door.
Yeah, no.
She's like, bitches, I'm here for my reverse harem. I don't care about y'all. Bitches, this is my reverse harem.
Yeah.
I'm creating
Yeah, this
here.
is the only reverse harem I'll be a part of, or maybe it's just like a harem with all of us plus the guys. Like, I don't know how this is gonna work.
We can be a, what is it? Polyamor? Is it polyamorous? Where they have
Oh,
sister
God.
wives?
Sister wives.
Sister wives.
Oh, yeah, I
oh
guess-
God.
I wouldn't mind that.
No. I'm not sharing with any of you.
No, no. Mm-mm. But I would like to mention and let it be stated, and we'll see if it makes it into the final cut. But
Okay.
M did not include St. Vincent in her harem, so
Oh, true. Facts spoken.
So I have a chance then to claim.
We'll see.
Well, that was great. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye. This is twice now that I've had to end this episode in 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Steph, how did you like
Right.
this book that we all know you love?
Okay, I've read this book so many times I don't even know, but of course I love it the a millionth time around. I love the characters, like I already said. I love Marcus. I love Lillian. I even love like Daisy's presence in this book. I even love like
Yeah.
Sebastian St. Vincent. Love him, and I love his like
You
contribution
fucking
to
better.
the story, and like just like the little tidbits or like little insight you get on his character in this book. And I just loved it. And I keep saying this. I think I'm known for saying this. This book really reminds me of like Darcy and Elizabeth. Like it's very Pride and Prejudice-esque, like with him being very judgmental and like them starting off and not like on the same foot, and like they're very much like judging of each other. And like I don't know, I love how it kind of reminds me of like my favorite, like one of my favorite guys ever. And like Marcus really reminds me of Darcy. And like I don't know, I love their story, and I just felt like they're just great. I don't know what else to say about them.
Can I say something else that might be controversial and might
Sure.
cost me your friendship?
Oh my gosh.
You know what this book was reminding me of as I was reading it?
What?
The Viscount Who Loved Me.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Like I feel like Anthony and Kate have a similar relationship dynamic
Yeah.
to Marcus and Lillian. Like I was getting the banter, I was getting the like I want to throttle you and kiss you at the same
Yeah.
time.
But I feel like it
vibes.
stops there. Like the bantering and like their dynamic is
Well, the
similar,
stories are different, but
but,
like I
like,
was
that's
just getting
it.
the same vibes, you know? Like
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed this book because it's so much fun, and I think that's also why The Viscount Who Loved Me is so much like it's so much fun also. Like it's two books
Yeah.
that, you know, are comparable in that way, I guess. But also like Lisa and Julia are, you know, friends. So
Mhm.
and have been for a long time. So it's
Are they
no
really?
Yeah.
I did not
They've
know.
written books together. Like
That I did know.
not like written together, but like, you know, like collections.
Yeah,
of
like an
stories
anthology
together.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right. Well, Seth loved it. Let's move on to the discussion. Where shall we start? There's so much to talk about.
I know.
And I will not make a Seth of myself, and I will not go into Sebastian right away because you wanted to go into Marcus right away the past 2 episodes.
I actually wanted Marcus to go into me.
Wow, give me 5, 7. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Oh, God.
That was good.
All right, go on with your
anyways.
question.
I was gonna ask S actually, and even you, G, but I feel like you already loved Westcliff from like the get-go. But for you, S, like what was your moment? Like where did you think he stood out the most where you're like, actually I might like this guy? Because I know you were very like uninterested and like not really like feeling him at like the
Mhm.
beginning of it. So I just want to know, when did that switch happen for you?
Definitely in the bushes, for sure.
So right off the bat, pretty
right.
much.
And then I think maybe
That was a pun, actually.
I know, right? When he was
'Cause
in her
it's
bush.
after the rounders, right off the bat. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Never
oh.
mind.
Wow.
Never mind, delete what I said.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm like
It's
blanked
late.
out. Okay, I said the bushes. And then when he grabs her off the horse, like he was worried. I felt like, and he went after her and he stopped her and he was like shaking her and
Mm-hmm.
sent her off. It seemed like he was gonna spank her right there and
Mhm.
then.
I honestly think Westcliff is a spanker.
I
For
honestly am disappointed he did not.
Right?
I was
Lisa?
waiting for
Would
it.
that
Like,
would have
Lily?
been a very historical romance thing to do though?
Oh,
Yeah. Because in Outlander, Jamie spanked Claire, and it was set in the 1800s.
I just finished watching that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think Lillian would have been down for it. You know, like she's very.
Yeah.
She gives me brat energy.
Yes.
you
Oh,
know?
heck yeah.
She would have
Heck
fought
yeah.
it the entire time until she didn't, and then it would have been a great time.
She would have scratched his face off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it would have been a good time.
Yeah, that scene on the fucking horse. Can we set the scene, please?
Go ahead.
So there's this, like, they're going, I don't know, he's got this, like, horse obstacle course or whatever bullshit that people have back then in their fucking backyards. I don't fucking know.
Like a
And he
jockey
built it-
thing?
Yeah, he built it for himself because Mr. Man has, you know,
The money.
his horsemanship is, like, top tier. And Lillian is like, I fancy a ride this morning. And so she finds herself a horse. And so back in America, she rides astride like a man when nobody can see. But obviously, back in Britain, can't do that shit because that's illegal. And so she's got to
It's
ride astride. No, not, sorry, side saddle.
Side saddle.
Yeah. Side saddle.
Doesn't
so
she
she's
even
never,
she puts on breeches, no? And everything.
back in America,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So she's never actually, like, practiced jumping on a horse side
Yeah.
saddle. But she's like, I'm gonna do it. And Marcus is like, no.
No. Yeah, she just wants to prove him wrong.
So she tells Annabelle about it, and Annabelle gets really freaked out. She tells Simon, and then Simon tells Marcus, and then Marcus learns that she's about to jump side saddle when she's never done it before. So he hops onto his own horse, his big horse. I gotta say, that was a sexy sight in my brain. I was like, ooh, this Marcus on a horse. A sight to behold. And he, you know, is going after her because she's just jumped, you know, over one thing and she succeeded and she's like, see, I can do it. But then, like, she kind of, like, stumbled a little bit. Like, she almost
fell
off
off her damn horse.
Yeah.
She almost. And Marcus sees that and he is so pissed. Deliciously pissed.
Does anybody have that bookmark to, like, I would like to just go relive that really quick.
Yeah, I would love that.
I know, I didn't bring my book down.
I did the audiobook, so
No, but that
let me
scene was
see.
just so great because, like, it's just funny because Marcus just fully goes and tells her, don't do it. And then obviously Lillian being who she is, she's like, you told me no, I will do it. And then Simon comes and he's like, dude, like, I told you, like, you know, approach her differently. Like, don't, like, tell her in this way that, you know, don't jump the track or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was a great scene. Did you find it, G?
I'm literally searching, like, side saddle, and then nothing's coming up.
yeah.
I think it's chapter 8, I want to say.
That early? Let me see.
Yeah, it's
It was,
kind
yeah,
of
pretty early in the book. And, like, I can just imagine him yelling. Like, you know, like, it's not even like,
Imagine all the guests around. Like, they're
Right?
just like, oh my god, what is going
because it's
on?
like, she's not even, like, bending her head in, like, shame. She's fighting him back. Calling him, like, a son of a
calling him
bitch.
names. Yeah.
Ready? White
Yeah.
face with rage.
No, I'm not ready, actually. Give me a second. I need to. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm gonna give the context.
Okay.
The use of my horses is a privilege that I extend to my guest, a privilege you have just lost. From now on, don't even think of setting so much as a foot in the stables, or I will personally boot you off the estate. White face with a rage that matched his, Lillian answered in a low, shaking voice, "Take your hands off me, you son of a bitch."
Yes,
Damn,
queen.
girl. Can I just say, if Westcliff ever yelled at me like that, I would, like, yes, be, like, aroused, but I also would probably
Drenched.
cry,
Yeah.
Mhm.
to be honest.
Same, M.
Drenched
same.
on my face and other places.
And then, of course, St. Vincent being St. Vincent, Westcliff tells him not to interfere, and St. Vincent goes, "Oh, I wouldn't dream of it. I merely wanted to compliment you on the way you're handling the situation. Very diplomatic, suave even." He's such
I
a
know.
dipshit.
Fucker.
He is. He was so annoying.
Shut
And then
up,
I love-
bitch. Don't you fucking dare.
You son of a bitch.
No, I love him. But no, I thought it was so funny because, like, obviously she goes off with Sebastian, and then, like,
Yeah.
Simon's like, oh, yeah, look, she's off with, like, him. And then, like, Westcliff turns around and he feels, like, his first, like, feeling of jealousy. And I was like, yeah.
But also, so she goes off with Sebastian, and Sebastian ends up with his fucking hands
Up her
all up in her
skirt.
skirts. And I was waiting for Marcus to like stumble upon them and like
too.
I was waiting for that.
Yep.
I
I
was
wanted
excited for
that.
that, and then it didn't happen.
I
It
feel like
didn't
there are
happen.
any like other instances of like where he felt jealousy and like I guess maybe, but that would have been a perfect instance where like maybe we could have had it.
Mhm.
I'm thinking maybe she didn't put it in that scene specifically because he was supposed to be like overcome with this like extreme rage that like would it have made sense if he's like, I'm so angry, oh shit, now I'm jealous. Like, I mean, it
Maybe.
happens, but like, I don't know.
But
Yeah.
also, maybe the point was to make us trust Sebastian. You know what I mean? Like, make us
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
he's got the right intentions, that he's a gentleman.
It was a good setup for something else. Yeah, I almost said something.
for the end. For the
Yeah.
end. I mean, it's in
No,
this
and
book.
I think it also that scene's important because like
Yeah.
we also see different sides of Sebastian. Like in this book we more so see his I guess villainous or like scheming side, but also I feel like
Yeah.
he has instances where like he genuinely wanted to help Lillian. He was worried about her.
Yeah.
I don't like think he was like scheming anything like that far in advance. Like he is a schemer for sure, but I feel like he just in that instance really wanted to help someone, like help her because she was like crying in pain.
It didn't start there though, like the scheming, or like that's where like it popped into his head, like maybe ding ding ding.
I think he's like
Maybe.
maybe she could be my wife because I need money. Like I don't think he like in his head started scheming to kidnap her.
Yeah.
Yet, like at
I
all.
think Sebastian is not someone who feels bad about taking advantage of people.
no.
I think he feels real fine about that.
yeah,
But
I don't think he thinks about
I
it.
think there are also instances where he wouldn't do that, and he wouldn't have done that to his own friend
Yeah.
had he not been desperate. And I think he was a desperate man at that point.
Yes.
And he had to do something, But before we get there, because we cannot talk about the end right now,
No.
No.
I want to ask S specifically, how did you feel? That scene where Sebastian walks onto the page for the first time. You've heard so much about him. He's finally mentioned. He's here. He makes his entrance. It is grandiose. How do you feel? What were your thoughts?
Was it the scene where he's with the guys and he
Yeah.
mentioned
Yeah.
something about having like the booklets of like women or some shit like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he's talking about
He's
being a manhole.
real
Yeah.
rake. Yeah.
Yeah, I was intrigued right there. It started, and I'm just like, and I looked up what he said that you should have like picture frames or picture books or something like that, like to see like what it was of women. And I went and I was just like, oh, it's like this fucker wanted like porn or something
Yeah.
like that. He wanted to see some porn, so I was like, okay, I'm intrigued.
I just thought it was funny because, like, in that instance, he's like, I went a week without sex. Like, this is crazy.
Right.
And then, like, Westcliff is like, how do you, like, why would you want to do it, like, more than once a week? And then Simon's like, you're going to want to, trust me.
Yeah.
I just love Marcus. And then later on, after the whole thing with Lillian, Simon goes to Marcus and he's like, only once a week, huh? And Marcus is like, shut the hell up.
Oh.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
I love all of them.
The banter and the comedy is just so good. Like, it's just
It really is.
so
There
funny.
is one scene that it
Yeah.
might not be like huge, but I would like to mention their first waltz. Just
Oh, yes.
because it was the first time that they said each other's first names.
Was it?
Yeah. And just so, to set it up really quick, they were having a great time or whatever, and I think they were having too much of a good time, and they both realized it, and they said,
Yeah.
maybe this was a bad idea. And I think Westcliff said it, and Lillian got offended, as any woman would. And so she goes to walk away, and he goes, Lillian, as she's walking away, like, come back here. Ugh. I just love that. The
know.
first names, like, before they're actually supposed to use them,
Yeah.
does something for me. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Side note, I really want to mention, Turkish shows do it every single show, guys. I'm telling you. They only refer to each
So
other.
what do they call each other?
They don't. They just give each other really intense stares.
Stop it, Em.
No, okay, so that show's an anomaly. We're not talking about that one. Like, literally every show, like, it would also, like, they use honorifics or, like, talk with, like, respect. Like, they don't talk familiar or whatever. Like, their language is very different. And, like, if they're referring to, like, the guy, they wouldn't just say his name. Like, for example, they wouldn't say, like, Alp. They would say, like, Alp Bay, like, Mr. Alp. And then, like, as soon as, like, you know, they're in that moment, then, like, the girl will say his name. And then he'll be like, oh, and then it's great.
My name.
Like, say it again. It's so great.
Well, okay. Back to this book. Speaking of, not to not linger on Turkish shows, but, you know.
I just thought to mention it in case G wanted to feel that in a TV show.
Fine, you can mention it. You can mention it. You're allowed. We love Turkish shows.
Seth, find me one that isn't 2 hours an episode, and I'll watch it.
No such thing. It doesn't exist.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, well, there's one on Netflix called Love 101, and they're only 8 episodes, and they're like 40 minutes each, and it's so good.
Done. I'll watch it.
Fucking minutes.
It's so good.
I'll watch it. That's a normal episode, Marge. Outlander was an hour an episode.
Did I finish Outlander?
You have? Oh, I mean, I haven't. I'm not caught up either, but like we watched a lot of it.
Yeah, we did. The first season. And that's
And
about it.
we would watch season 2 together. Do you remember?
Yeah, and then we stopped at episode 5 or 6.
Yeah, that was really bad.
That was my bad influence on you. Anywho, what I wanted to talk about were, you mentioned Pride and Prejudice, and I just wanted to mention the parallels because Marcus has a couple failed dumbass proposals in this book where he messes up. He's proposing all the wrong ways, and Lillian is like, really,
Bitch,
dude?
please.
I don't think so.
No.
I loved it. I love it. I can't help it.
Would you turn down the love of your life that you knew you wanted to marry because he didn't propose in a good way?
Oh, that's a tough question.
I mean, I think we need to acknowledge Lillian's like full of pride. But if my man literally said, so I guess we kind of slept together, so I guess I have to marry you, I would say, no.
Yeah.
Like,
But
are you
that's
dumb?
a great question, actually, because it happens so often in romance novels where it's like, oh, he proposed and it's everything I've always wanted, but he didn't do it because he loves me. He did it for XYZ reason.
Yeah.
Therefore, I will not accept. And now that I think about it, it's a little dumb. Like, just say, yes, but she's rich, okay? These times are rough.
And Westcliff's really hot.
Also.
But, like, if this man literally said, I guess it's my obligation to marry you, he didn't say, like, you know, I guess, like, I like you, I think you're funny, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
If Westcliff himself just proposed to you in that same way, you wouldn't say yes?
I would say fuck yes. It's Westcliff, man.
I'd say yeah.
So yeah, we're all saying yes. Who are we
Let's
kidding?
run. What is it called? What is the place called where they Gretna Green? Let's go.
Gretna Green. Take me
Gretna
to Gretna
Green.
Green. Get me married.
Gretna Green it. Get that green card. I mean, literally, because she's American, she needs the
the visa.
Gretna Green it. Anywho, any other scenes you guys want to talk about? There was the orangery scene. There was the pear. Seth, I feel like you wanted to say something about a little
Right.
pear.
Okay. First sex scene.
Yeah.
So basically, Lillian is like in her cups. She's had a few drinks. Her hand's stuck in a glass container because she really wants to eat the pear that infused the alcohol. And I felt so bad for
love
this girl
that
because she
scene
just
so
really
much.
wanted to eat it, and then she got to eat something else that was really probably scrumptious. Anyways,
His pear. She wanted some of that pear.
I had a question
I'm
for you.
so
girls.
sorry,
Juicy
Mom,
pear.
if you're listening.
Oh my god, I forgot.
I know. Oh my god. Sorry, Mom.
She's not listening to this episode, G. Don't you dare.
She's allowed the first 5 minutes and then the last
She
5.
is 100% listening to
No.
So sorry.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I had a question. So
Yep.
about their first time. So it happens when she's like kind of tipsy, kind of like under the influence. Well, she is under the influence. And like he does express like regret again, like about it. Like he's like, I know you were kind of like, I kind of took advantage of you afterwards. How did you feel about that? Like, just, no, I'll answer it after. How did you guys feel about that?
Well, it sounds like you have thoughts, so how about you go
Yeah.
first instead?
Oh no, I was literally gonna say I personally didn't care. They both wanted each other beforehand.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same.
And she didn't feel like she was taken advantage of afterwards. So.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really happens between them. It's not like they have sex. They don't have sex.
They have sex.
They're all around in the library.
No, and then he takes her up to his bedroom and they have sex.
They don't do
No,
anything.
they
don't do anything. And then they wake up the next morning and Marcus is like, I'm real sorry, but you're compromised because you're in my bed right now.
Wait,
and
are
spent
you
the night
sure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me finish. And then Marcus is like, so we're going to get married. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? She goes back to her room, talks to Daisy, tells her everything. And then she learns later on that Marcus was like behind the scenes talking to her parents. She's real mad. She's like, this man is fucking preparing
Guys,
our
I swear
wedding.
to God, they had sex that
No,
night.
they don't. They
No.
don't. It's afterwards.
What
It's
the heck? What did I read then?
It's when they have
A
sex
fanfic.
when she goes to his office, Steph. She goes to his office in her nightgown. Simon is there. Simon gets sent away. They start fooling around. He brings her back to his room. They spend the night there because they're supposed to, oh no, wait. They're supposed to discuss the contract, the things that they never discussed. Because they
Guys,
ended up
I'm
having
convinced
sex.
they had sex, and I
No,
can't
they
believe
didn't.
I
Yeah.
imagined it.
No, they don't.
Was it an old version of it? Like an old?
I got the reprint in like 2016,
Okay, so no.
so it would not have been.
But
an
I guess
older.
the question still stands because he does choose to bring her back to his room, knowing what that entails for the next morning and what, could come of it, instead of putting her back into her own bed. So we can still discuss that because she was tipsy. You're right about that. And then this had consequences of big proportion for her.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't left with a choice. It was kind of like, well, actually, you're going to have to marry me. So.
Gonna have to.
Oh, I feel like at that point, like right before he entered the library, he had made up his mind that he was going to marry her anyway. Like he decided to let himself want her and let himself like actually entertain the idea of making her his wife.
Yeah,
So.
but we're talking about her.
Right,
No, I know.
like should the decision have been taken away from her?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, it shouldn't have. He's like, it's Westcliff. Like he's very like protective and like very like domineering. But like he should know at the same time Lillian like doesn't like that type of
Like is overwhelming like love, lust, affection, like whatever is that okay? Is that enough to kind of take someone's decision away? Oh,
yeah,
that's
because
the
at that
question.
point she didn't know his feelings.
Right.
Okay. And then similarly, he then went behind her back and he didn't actually announce to her parents, which she thought he did, that, they were going to get married. Instead, he was just asking for permission to court her.
Mm-hmm.
But considering the situation and the way that her parents are head over heels for that, idea, is she even left with a choice in that case? Because it's like her parents know he wants to court her, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So what do you think? There should have been like a conversation between them.
Well, they were supposed to have one, and then they didn't. They had sex instead.
I think as she found out that he just like asked to court her, like I think she had like assumed that obviously it was like to ask for her hand in marriage or like say I'm gonna marry your daughter. So I think for her she was okay with him asking to court her. But guys, I'm convinced they had sex because I vividly remember, I'm sorry, I'm back to their first night. I vividly remember him saying like you could be with child right now, and then she's like we'll deal with it after.
Oh. What you just said, Seth, yes, they did say that, but I
But
don't.
that's not when she's tipsy. That's after.
No, it's not. I am convinced they had sex that first night. I'm so sorry I'm keeping this up. I'm just convinced.
I feel like he just makes it. He makes it seem, no? Doesn't he just kind of just has her believing that, but really nothing happens?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I dare say Lord St. Vincent will accept me in spite of my lack of virginity.
I love how Sebastian would probably be the only man on Earth at that time in historical romance who would be like, "You're not a virgin? Oh, fucking thank God."
Yeah.
I know.
Thank God. Well, listeners, if you know and you have screenshots to share with us, feel free to reach us online. You can find us at romanceandthemonsterspodcast@gmail.com. We would love to know. Tell us we're wrong. Or tell us Seth is right. Who will it be?
I'm convinced I'm right. But then you guys are also convinced you're right. So who's right and who's wrong?
Okay, I'm at the
None of
scene.
us.
He takes her upstairs, but he takes her upstairs twice.
What? How's that possible?
Come with me, where? Upstairs. Put your arms around my neck. And as she obeyed, he lifted her against his chest. Chapter 18.
Okay, keep going.
Marcus was beside her, leaning over her, his mouth playing on her kisses. Lillian, my angel, my love. Does it ache right here? No,
I'm feeling flustered all of a sudden. S2. She's fatting herself.
I know. So sorry, this is happening the first night, right? Where she sneaks, like, goes up when she's a little tipsy.
Well, that's what I'm trying to. I'm trying to go all the way back, but this is a long ass scene. Yeah, she's drunk. Yeah, she's drunk,
and they have sex.
and they have sex.
The audiobook, they don't have sex.
See? So they probably cut it out because I remember the scene being a bit controversial because people were really angry that she was like under the influence and like he quote unquote took advantage of her. I remember that being a thing.
So we missed out.
I guess so.
Shocking. I'm writing a strongly worded letter right now to the publisher. How dare they?
Yeah, it's chapter 18.
What the hell?
Yeah, I knew they had sex. That's why I'm like, I cannot be crazy. I've read this book so many times. Do you know what it is, guys? It's because Em listens to her sound at times 10,000, so she missed it.
Well, what about S? How do you explain S?
But I didn't listen to times 1,000. It was at 0.5 or not. Sorry, that's too low. 1.5.
So then how did you guys miss it?
Because I remember it happened. It's the library scene.
No,
they
they're
were
definitely
messing
doing
around.
it. Listen.
Yes, they did it.
Girl, what chapter?
18. We're about to solve this mystery.
I'm looking forward to having to cut out all of this when I'm editing. Really? You guys are making it real fun for me right now.
Did you find it, S?
So at the beginning of chapter 18, she wakes up.
What?
She went groggily.
They
Yes.
cut it out then.
They cut it out!
It's right here. It's chapter 18, and they're literally, listen.
As his tantalizing touch withdrew, bewildered and frantic.
3 minutes in, I'm at the very beginning, the chapter starts where she wakes up groggily.
Yeah, no, I'm
So-
3 minutes and 44 seconds in.
Okay, so let me go to
3 minutes and 44 seconds.
This is a conspiracy, everyone. The hell?
see, 3 minutes in, he's giving her. 3 minutes in, he says you've been compromised.
Yeah, no, see,
They
it cut
cut
out the whole damn scene.
So let me go back a little bit to a minute.
And this doesn't say abridged on the cover.
S, let me see your artwork for that book. What is it?
It's a red one.
And mine isn't.
Oh.
And mine's this one.
What is happening?
Dun,
Can I get
dun,
the PG
dun.
version?
Can I'll add the sound effect of like conspiracy right here.
Yeah, my question, I think it could be because of like the controversy going on,
Yeah.
like with the whole like him, taking her virginity under the influence.
Yeah.
But then what was the setup for the scene then, S&M? Like,
Yeah,
So-
you guys read almost a whole different book. Wait, hold on.
yeah, because like the whole point of him, like the more, I guess, the intense feeling of it was like, I compromise you. You could be like, my child might be in your belly right now. And
Yeah.
Lillian being like, that's all you want to marry me for?
Okay, I will say, I'm getting this like eerie feeling.
Totally different perspective
That-
that I got.
Yeah, that when I was reading and it skips to chapter 18 and she wakes up, I'm not gonna lie. When I was listening, I was like, something feels different here. But I kind of just carried on and was like, okay, maybe I just remember it differently or something. Because
Yeah.
when I read these back in 2013.
Right, the paperbacks.
the paperback from the library. So I probably read the version that you read. And I was like, this is weird. Like, this is not how I remember it. But then again, like, I never reread this book since then. So I was like, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong and their first time is later on.
But here's what's interesting. Does anybody have a recent ebook?
I have it in the library.
Because it's in my ebook.
But it's... I have the... Okay, let me go.
I have the red dress copy as an actual physical book. So I don't know if that's like
Do
that's
I have a red dress copy? No, I have a yellow dress copy. I'm sorry, my life.
This is like switching on lights. Like, bitch, I need all of this focus. I need my focus, my attention.
Yeah, look, that's my cover.
Yeah, I have that cover.
So, okay, so it says Lillian. Okay, chapter 18. Lillian opened her eyes and flinched at the deep slant. Groggily, she registered. Okay.
Yo, I'm shook.
What the
I'm
heck?
shook.
Okay, you know what? Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna search it up. Maybe they deleted it.
Look.
Okay, yeah, you do that. No, you know what? I'm leaving all this in. It's interesting.
Let me see. G?
Chapter 18. If this was a dream, Lillian thought a few minutes later it was happening with amazing clarity.
No, that's not how mine starts.
You
So mine
see?
starts chapter 18. Just so you guys can see, Lillian opened her eyes and flinched at the deep. So this is a library copy.
Is
the
going
library.
on?
Let me pull out my little.
I'm about to go grab my paperback.
Here, hold on.
files.
I'm about to search it up on my library. Hold on. The hell?
Yeah, everyone was saying like the scene needs to be cut. Like it's so like he took advantage of her. Like she was drawing. So I think maybe Lisa Kleypas or like the publisher or whoever decided to take it out of the audiobook, but like took it out of the ebook as well, like the newer print.
In the library version, the ebook is still there. If this was a dream, Lillian thought a few minutes later it was happening. Blah, 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 blah.
So this, I have that exact same, but in this copy.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And what's chapter 18 say?
In mine?
Guys.
Yeah.
The same thing what Marge just read.
So they changed it. They took it out.
So they changed
Why is it only the audiobook though? The one copy, like our copy of the audiobook.
But it's not. It's also the ebook, right? That S has at her library.
Yeah.
S has the version of the ebook where they cut it out.
If you're gonna change something in a fucking book that's been published for 20 fucking years, okay? First off, make it fucking clear that something was cut out. Second, by adding like an author's note at the beginning saying, blah, 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 I published this book 20 years ago, I removed a scene. That way, if the readers want the original content of the book, they can go and find it elsewhere. Second of all, most importantly, if you're gonna fucking change something, make sure you fucking change it in every fucking copy. This, having different versions, not okay.
Because Stephanie was robbed of a scene.
I'm so sad for you. I'm
Here's my thing. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, but ebooks can be updated and it automatically updates in your Kindle.
Yeah.
So why wasn't my Kindle book updated? Because she re-released a whole new book, basically.
Basically, the whole events after that is different. Like, it has a different perspective.
She didn't edit the manuscript in KDP. No, well, it's not KDP, but like in Amazon or whatever. She literally deleted it and republished this book, and nobody noticed.
Well, we noticed.
Yeah, well, we got it now because
We
we're
are
detectives.
noticing. We're on to you,
No,
publishers.
because that, honestly, it changes the whole, like,
It
intention
does.
behind him wanting to marry her.
It really does, because when he was saying, so he took her upstairs, nothing happened, they messed around the library, she woke up, he gave her some water, and just kind of said, like, you were compromised.
Yeah.
I just think that was just him trying to trick her and trying to convince her into...
No, he compromised her, all right.
Yeah, in a way, it kind of makes it worse because from our perspective, it's like, oh, so you just brought her to your room knowing what this would mean for her, and she's tipsy at the time, and then she wakes up the next morning and you're basically saying, like, oh, so we're gonna have to marry now because, like, you spent the night in my room even though, like, you had no say in it, but, like,
In
sorry.
the older version, you hear her giving her consent over and over and over and over again. And in this newer version, it don't want to use that word, but it really does seem like he took advantage of her.
Even in the library, because like we do get the scene in the library where they start like rolling around and shit and like making out, and he asks her, "Are you sure about this?" And she's like, "Yeah, no, I want it."
Yeah, and
but then
they
we
moved
don't
to the
get
bed
rest of
because
that.
obviously they were worried that they'd get caught.
I would have remembered this if this was in the audiobook where I don't know if this is what you read, G, where he says, "Yeah, my angel, my love, this ache right here, this empty place. Do you want me to fill it?"
Girl, you better go read that.
I know, go read it.
How long is your audiobook, G? We're going full on detective tonight.
11 hours and 29 minutes.
What's yours? What is yours, M?
11 hours and 10 minutes.
They cut 20 minutes out.
They cut the whole sex scene out.
And 5 seconds, yeah.
Wow.
What the hell?
Wow.
I'm shook.
Water breaks ass. You couldn't enjoy his first sex scene with her.
That's messed up.
That's why I was like, I'm trying to remember why you girls said it wasn't memorable. Their first sex scene was so great.
Yeah.
Because of these lines that you guys are reading right now.
There are 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
20 minutes
Gone.
of missing content.
Wow. Jail.
Well, this was a fucking
Jail
plot
from his
twist.
playpen.
I wasn't expecting this tonight. Wow.
I'm not crazy!
Well, no one is crazy. That's the moral of the story.
All right. Speaking of sex scenes, how did you guys feel about Westcliff constantly being described as like he has like a manly like chest, you know, like they keep saying
Hair.
fleecy, so I'm like
He's
trying to imagine how hairy
Hair,
is his
honey,
chest.
hair.
He's heavy.
I know.
I love
he's
it.
hot, guys.
We like it. We love it. We
I
love
have
the
a
hairy
note.
chest.
Yeah, I have a note that Westcliff has raw sensuality about him. You know what I mean?
He doesn't try.
It's like contained, but it's raw and it's right there. I like it. I like it a lot.
Better be quiet. St. Vincent's gonna get jealous.
Well, St. Vincent is different. St. Vincent, there's nothing raw about it. He's exuding it, you know?
Mhm.
It's just, he's walking sensuality.
Yeah. And he's like owned his skills.
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of St. Vincent, someone we did not talk about, and I would love to get your takes on, especially S's, because this was her first time. Evie. We didn't mention Evie at all, and she's the heroine of the next book. And I had forgotten, to be honest, just how bad her situation was.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
To begin with. Like, I remember her situation in the next book, but I had forgotten just how bad it was. So, S, how do you feel about Evie?
I love her, but just a little, I didn't know she was gonna be his. For some reason, I kept thinking Daisy was gonna be the heroine for.
Wait, did M just spoil it for you?
Sebastian.
Yeah, I think she did.
No.
Because they don't say at the end who it is.
She literally walks up to him and she's like, I have a proposition.
Yeah, she
But
does
they
at the
don't
end.
say her name.
We know it's her.
Okay, we
Yeah,
know.
for
but
some
I-
reason I knew it was her, but before that I thought it was Daisy. And I kept
No.
thinking, like, why is he going through the trouble of Lillian when there's a sister right
yeah,
there?
why didn't he just go for Daisy?
You get
like-
me?
Well, if you had two brothers, but you really liked one, would you just want to go for the other?
But like, did he like her, or was she just like Lillian, or was she just like convenient? Like, you know, she's rich. She's like, I guess we kind of get along. She's like funny a bit, you know, like whatever. I'll just go for her.
I think because St. Vincent is looking for someone who, at the very least, can be on his level. And I think
true.
Lillian could. Daisy,
Yeah.
I don't think she could.
Yeah.
But all that to say that I'm glad it's not Daisy, because
Yeah.
that's a sister and it's real close, and
Yeah.
That'd be yucky.
How did you feel about his arc though in the story? And like, I'm talking more so like Like he was described as basically like Lucifer. Like Lucifer Morningstar is described as like, you know, blonde hair, blue-eyed, beautiful, beautiful angel. And then like obviously we know Lucifer becomes like a Satan. So like how did you feel about like Saint Vincent, but he's also like a villain, like after he's like the devil in disguise.
He's a charming man, extremely charming, and he's blonde, which is unusual for literally everyone on this podcast. Well,
are you
maybe
kidding?
not,
Remember
maybe
we've
not
already
Steph,
established.
actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's also a rake of the worst kind. So how do you guys feel about his arc?
I'm intrigued. It's okay for him to be the villain, how he started off and how he ended.
Actually, before we get into this, let's talk about the ending.
Okay.
I feel like
but
that
I think
makes
we need
more
to
sense.
set up with the Countess.
Sure.
That
Go
being
ahead.
Marcus's mother.
Yeah.
So basically this the
What a
kind of
fucking
starts off
bitch.
with
I have
Sorry,
a
what?
question.
Yeah.
She has a question.
Let's hear it.
Where was this bitch at in Again the Magic? I thought she was dead. When it mentioned the Countess and his mother, I was like, wait a minute, what?
She's probably
traveling.
somewhere up in that fucking castle, just like, I don't fucking know,
Chilling.
The audacity
ordering
of her.
people around.
Yeah. Like the bad vibes we obviously got from the beginning where
Bad
like
vibes.
Marcus comes to her room and he's like, look, I have news from Aline, you know, they're having a baby.
Yeah.
And then she's like, ew, I don't want to know about it. You're like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, this bitch. And then I thought that
Yeah.
was going to be the extent of it. And obviously she'd be like, you know what, Marcus, I don't want you to marry Lillian. Like, she's American. Like, she's not even polished. I thought it'd end there. But she just becomes like so like disgusting. And like, she just wants an English, you know, daughter-in-law, and she just wants someone to continue like the line and all of that. And like, so basically that's the start of it. Like the Countess does not want Lillian at all to be her daughter-in-law. So basically, the Countess and Sebastian St. Vincent kind of create a plan where Sebastian can get Lillian, and he does that, well, with the help of the Countess, who drugs Lillian and kind of throws her into a carriage with St. Vincent. And St. Vincent and Lillian, like, she's bound, she's gagged, she cannot, like, basically move. He is jetting off to Gretna Green in Scotland, and he's gonna marry her against her will, basically, because at that point, Lillian has chosen Westcliff and wants to be with Westcliff. And he has also made his desires known to his own mother. Which is why she did this to begin with. And yeah, they stop at an inn. He locks Lillian up with handcuffs.
Handcuffs.
I know.
Hello.
And I love his little comment. He's like, you know, I've used these before. Maybe we can use them later on in another way. And yeah, so that's basically his, I guess, his villainous.
Villainous.
Okay. Shut up. A villainous act in this book. There you go.
I just think he was real sneaky about it, because he kind of goes off page, like he's gone, he makes like his goodbyes, and you think he's just like moving on with his life and totally fine with the fact that Lillian is all about Marcus now.
Yeah.
And then no.
No.
He's planning things behind the scenes and being scheming.
Yep.
So S, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much were you expecting kidnapping to be a part of this
Yeah.
plot?
I was not. I was shocked. I gasped. I'm like, but I thought that he kind of like intervened when she woke up in like laying on his lap.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, let's not go to like the extremes. He's there to save her. You know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I believe, was it our last conversation, you mentioned something about them being besties. I'm like, besties wouldn't do this,
Yeah.
what it's leading to. Like, besties wouldn't do this.
Uh-huh.
And then, no, he kidnapped her, he handcuffed her, and he was going to force her to marry.
And he even said
like,
he was going to rape her.
Yeah, and I'm just like, wow, like, he went there. That's like, like, the biggest, I thought it was like the biggest betrayal.
Yeah.
I don't see them coming back from that.
Well,
Don't say that.
I'm not saying anything.
let's just say, okay, 40 years down the line, they're
Don't
still
say
dealing-
anything. You need to, like, stop talking. They were friends since they were 10 years old, and he did that to the woman his best friend loved. Can you believe it?
Can I say then that Sif and I were thinking about that, and we're thinking, like, imagine their fucking kids and their parents telling their fucking kids, yeah, remember when Uncle Sebastian fucking kidnapped your mom? Like, imagine that conversation, okay?
I wish Lisa Kleypas wrote it in some way.
So the end, right? He's in his study, you know, broke, as G said.
But
very
broke.
And, like, bruised ego and also bruised body. Westcliff really beat the shit out of him.
I just love that scene, you know? We're just hearing, like, banging and things, you know, being thrown to the ground and shit upstairs. And it's like, Simon is like, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, and then you just, like, have Lillian and Simon being like, so, how was the drive here? Yep, it was great. Bang, bang. Like, it's just so great.
So yeah, and then someone who apparently I can't reveal walks in. Well, first of all, Sebastian is like, I don't fucking care who's at the door. I don't want to see them.
Like, I mean, if they're in the mood for, like, a quick fuck, sure. But, like,
Yeah.
just no, it's just, like, in and out, and then they're out.
And then Evie's like, well, actually, I really gotta talk to you because I have a proposition for you. And that's how the book ends.
Dun, dun, dun.
Were you intrigued by the end? Like, take yourself back to, like, the first time you read it. Were you, like, intrigued? Obviously read the next one. Like, I'm talking to all of you girls.
For sure, because, like, of all the girls to try to tame that beast, for it to have been her, I was like, okay, how is this going to work out? But being a lover of, like, enemies to lovers and opposites attract kind of stuff, I was extremely intrigued.
Yeah. What about you, S? It's your first time really being, exposed to the beginning of their story.
Yeah, no, I'm intrigued. I'm excited for the next. I started it this morning.
Oh.
Sorry, Marge.
I love how I have a podcast with liars who
I told you, girls. I read it and I finished it.
And they're constantly full of lies.
Yeah, be the
and
victim.
I am here.
You just feel a little left
constantly
behind.
being honest with them.
We can fix that.
Never have
Just
lied to you
open the
once.
audiobook.
G, do you want to start a podcast?
Wow, Sev.
Let's continue our podcast then, without our third host.
Bitch, Romancing the Monsters was my fucking name.
Well, you know what?
We'll come up with a new
Trademarked.
A new name, don't worry. The St. Vincent Ladies or something like that.
Fucking hell. You're asking for it, bitch. I'm coming over with a knife.
Oh my god. Anyways, we're getting so off topic
What was
here.
the question?
Are you
What was
intrigued?
that? Oh, yeah, I'm intrigued. I started the audiobook. I'm hoping I stay intrigued.
Can you not listen to the audiobook this time? Because I don't want you to miss anything of their story.
Can you imagine?
But it makes it so easier for me, like, to get
But,
it
like,
done.
when it
fast.
comes
Listen to the
sex
audiobook.
scene.
We'll let you know if you miss out on anything.
Well, apparently Marge didn't know she was missing out on
Exactly.
No, but there's no controversial scene in that book.
No.
There isn't?
No.
Why?
Nothing that you wouldn't expect. You know?
I expect, like, debauchery and, like, to the
Oh, yeah. I
extreme.
mean,
You'll see.
you'll get it.
You'll see, yes. You'll see what kind of story it is.
Yeah, I mean, like, if anything, just be, like, you're going to be surprised by Sebastian's story.
Growth.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say growth. That's a spoiler. His story.
I love the shots that everyone's taking today. We are feeling feisty.
Moving on.
Okay, let's talk about important things that we should probably mention and not just fangirl over these characters for an hour and a half.
She totally cut me off. I was
Yeah,
going
I
to
totally
say something.
did.
S, mom and dad are fighting.
What a fucking bitch.
Scared. You think they're gonna divorce?
You know what? Go ahead, Em. You know, I'll just pretend I'm not here. Go. It's okay.
I just want to know if G's mom wants to start a podcast with me, honestly, at this point. I'm abandoning all of you.
You're gonna be sitting by yourself in your basement talking to yourself. Disgusting.
I'll be talking to G's mom.
Listen,
Oh.
the amount of books that woman has read is insane. She's probably read more than me. I mean, also she's been
See.
alive longer than me, so like that's her advantage.
Makes sense.
a Twilight episode. She can come on there for that. She read Twilight.
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
imagine? All right, Seth, what were you gonna say?
No, it's fine. Go ahead. It's
Oh,
fine.
she's bitter.
Oh, the attitude for me. It's the attitude. Oh, what we didn't mention, and I said at the beginning of the episode we were going to talk about it, which is the perfume.
Oh,
in
yes.
question, the aphrodisiac of it all. Thoughts, questions, opinions, theories, comments, what y'all thinking?
There's definitely something in there. Because was it Annabelle?
Is there or is there not?
There is.
Do you know that thing that was going like really famous on TikTok where it's like the oil and it's like all the men are like, I don't know, whoever you're attracted to, or not even who you're attracted to, literally everyone to be attracted to you. I honestly feel like this perfume was that. And that was, I think, what was it? What was it called? Like an elixir or something, right?
I don't
What is
know,
it
but
called?
I feel like not long ago I was hearing two people talk about buying pheromones.
Yes,
that's
pheromones.
the one. Pheromones, yeah. Everybody has
There you
natural
go.
pheromones.
That's what I was looking for. So that's what I think this perfume was.
Where did I hear that? Who was it?
Probably on TikTok, because you're mysteriously on TikTok. Mom.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
on
think-
TikTok.
I
I'm
feel,
not
I
on
feel it in
TikTok.
my bones. You are mysteriously on TikTok.
No, I think that the perfume definitely had something to do with each, like, whoever wears its pheromones. And I also think that maybe the romantic aspect of like fairy tale had something to do with it.
I think it's an extension of the well.
Yeah.
Like the well has
Mm.
this like mystical aspect to it where it's like if you make a wish, it like suddenly comes true. But only when it's the right time and only for your right love type of thing. And I think the perfume was like an extension of that where it's like it works as an aphrodisiac, but only
For
on
your
your
true
one
love.
true love type of thing.
Yep.
Because Annabelle tried it out, poor girl.
I
And
know.
then Simon kept her up all night. And the next morning she was like, never fucking again.
Yeah.
And like, didn't they mention that she was limping or whatever?
Yes.
I'm like, girl got the D.
She got pregnant. She's pregnant.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, do you want to ride a horse? And she's like, not after last night.
Oh my gosh.
She was horrified at the thought of ever wearing that perfume ever
Yeah.
again.
I know. But then
poor girl.
Evie and Daisy were like, yes, give it to me.
Yeah.
Right? Daisy was walking around like, why the fuck is this not working for me?
I have a question.
Mhm.
Speaking of mystical romantic things, do you guys have that one like, okay, this is like dumb, but I'm gonna do it anyway, kind of like wish, or like do you wish on a shooting star? Do you throw a coin in a fountain and make a wish? Like, have you guys ever done that?
I've done something similar, like for New Year's. I don't know if there's like little games, like you eat like
The 12
grapes.
grapes. Yeah.
If you want to travel, you get a suitcase and you walk
Your
across on the
neighborhood.
street back and forth.
That's definitely a
like-
Spanish thing, I think. Do you wear yellow underwear
Red, I think, red.
for love?
And then for love.
And I wear yellow
And
for
then-
money?
No, but we do.
That's
It's a
actually
little.
Cute.
We do a little red cloth with rice, and we put it inside our wallet for money.
Every time I find an eyelash like that has fallen off my face or something, I make a wish on an eyelash.
Oh, that's cute.
Love that. I don't. I feel like it's missing in my life. I should.
Yeah.
You should
I
wish
should
on
do more of
eyelashes.
that.
Yeah, I don't do it either. But I mean, like in like my culture, so like in Guyanese culture, there's like this thing where like if you're sweeping and like you end up sweeping
Your
someone's
feet?
feet,
Yes.
they're like they say you won't get married.
Yeah.
And like the amount of times my feet have gotten like swept, I'm like, great, I'm
No,
never
for
gonna get
us-
married at this
For
point.
us, they say, my mom always says it like there's not a day where she's sweeping or if I'm sweeping and like I get her legs. Don't do it porque me voy a casar con un viudo or something like that. Meaning you're gonna get married with the widow.
A widow.
widower.
Yeah, a
A
widower.
widow, right? So that's one
Hey,
thing
hot
that-
single dad.
But I don't know why like she says it and I'm thinking like, oh my god, like that's the worst thing that can happen. But that's just that someone's person died and he's just this viudo,
Yeah.
He's a widower.
It comes with baggage, though.
Yeah.
That's true.
Maybe you don't want the baggage.
That's something though, like just to like tie it all up. That's something that I really loved about this is that like it's not a fantasy, there's no magic, there's no nothing, but
Mhm.
somehow Lisa was able to incorporate that little element that just made you believe in like fairy tales.
Yeah, because I just feel like it's an exaggeration of like having hope too.
But
So
also, even without those elements, I just feel like Lisa writes books that make you feel like you just stepped into a whole new world, you know? And it's like, it feels like you're being reunited with friends and like,
yeah,
I can't explain it. It's just, there's a feeling that comes with it that it just feels so right, you know? And you're just like swept away in this story that's full of romance and
Would you
fun and
say
laughter.
would you
Yeah.
say that this is like the historical romance version of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants?
I've never read it, so I can't really
Have you seen the
say.
movie?
I've seen the movies, yeah.
Yeah. But
I
like
love the movies.
I don't know, like some like I guess it's just honestly it's just like the group of friends. But
Mhm.
I don't know, like this gives me like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants vibes.
Yeah, I could see
I
that.
guess
They're four
so,
friends.
yeah.
They never shared
Yeah,
anything,
sure.
but you know, there's the
No.
fountain.
Yeah, the fountain and also the perfume. And also, I don't know, I love the idea of like found family. And I feel like this series in particular does it really well in the sense where like you don't feel like you just feel like they've known each other forever and like the way that they talk about each other and the way like they're so like unselfish, so like I guess selfless with each other. It's just like amazing. Like the fact that they're not out to get each other, like they're not like there's no like animosity between them at
Competition,
all.
yeah.
They're like sisters to like a T. And
There's
like I
no
just love that.
competition when there should be literally a competition to find a husband.
Yeah.
But speaking of the romance, because I feel like we've talked about how hot it is, we've talked about how fun it is, how much we love the banter, but like at the root of it all is this relationship between Lillian and Marcus. And I just love that it mentions how for Lillian, Marcus is the only person who's ever made her feel vulnerable, which is so important for someone like her who's, you know, bold and, you know, confident and a hard ass, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But she needs someone to bring her down a couple steps and like make
Yeah.
her feel like she's on an equal level with someone, which I assume she doesn't get very often because, you know, she's very intelligent and like very witty.
And one could say intimidating as well.
Intimidating as well, probably, yeah. So I just think it's so important, and they both have this like tough exterior. Like he's very stoic and like
Yeah.
I don't know. I love how they are literally like opposites attract and how they bring out what the other needs, because Marcus always also mentions that he needs like Lillian is someone who allows him to laugh at himself, which is
Yeah.
so important for someone like him who, like I said, is very stoic and like very, you know, serious all the time, because he has to be, you know, that's just his position, but also it's kind of his personality, let's be real.
Yeah.
Like he's very comfortable in his position as Lord Westcliff, and I don't think for him it's a case of like he never wanted to be Lord Westcliff. Like no, he fills the shoes very well.
Yeah.
But he needs someone to have fun with, you know? And Lillian needs someone to make her feel vulnerable and feminine and comforted and taken care of.
No, I do think his personality very much is in due part to like his childhood and the way he was brought up. And like his, I guess, his closed off reserved nature is like obviously like what he's experienced as a child. And like I think I feel like I'm getting into the monster here, for me at least. With Westcliff, like it's his abuse and his trauma from his childhood, and like his father, we know in like the first book, again the magic, that he wasn't a very loving, caring father, and like Aline kind of mentions that like Westcliff kind of bore the brunt of his like I don't know, his anger, but like you don't really get to see it until Olivia, not even Westcliff tells not even Westcliff tells Lillian at this point about his childhood and why he is like the way he is, why he's so closed off. It was Olivia that pulls Lillian inside, and then she's like, you know what? He was severely like abused when he was a child. Any person that he showed any sort of affection to, they were like fired or like kicked out. as a 5-year-old, he was locked in a room alone with like 2 dogs that he was deathly afraid of. And he just learned to like close that part of himself. Like he just learned to like not show affection, not show warmth, because like anytime he showed that, people got taken away from him. Anything that he loved got taken away from him.
God, that's so sad.
And I think this does play into his monster even further than that, because there is a point where Lillian still has this like thing going with Sebastian, whatever the fuck it is, and he mentions, or at least it's like said on page, that Marcus needed to feel reassured that she wanted him.
Yeah.
And not Sebastian in that instance, which I can't remember what scene it was. Probably like a sex scene or whatever. So I do think that his experience as a child definitely, you know, affected him and how he perceives himself. And, you know, it's mentioned multiple times how he's not like the most good looking man. He's very like, he's got
hot.
like
In my head.
yes, but he's not like Sebastian
Yeah,
hot, where
of
it's like
course.
everyone is like, oh my god, Sebastian is literally a god on earth. You know, it's like, no, he's got a different kind of beauty that's more like not so perfect, a little
Yeah.
bit more rough and masculine type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I also love he's a short guy. He's not like one of the tall ones. So holla to the short man out there.
Okay, he's not that much shorter, guys. He's like 5'10".
Well, for a romance hero, that's pretty short.
Yep. True.
So anyway, I do think that he knows that about himself, and especially when put in, you know, comparison with someone like Sebastian, like,
Yeah.
you know, it says something about how he feels about himself, that he needs to feel reassured that it's really him that she wants and not Sebastian. Anyone else wants to say something on the matter?
Well, for me, it's the exact same thing that Seth said. I think his monster is his parents.
Yeah, not even just his dad, his mother too. Yeah,
his
you're
mom
right.
too. And just the fact that she kept pushing for him to have an affair, and he's just like, I love that about him, that he was raised differently, and he doesn't want to continue the cycle.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's just like, I can't even imagine having a mistress or having Lillian as a mistress or cheating on her. Or
Exactly.
Can we
And that's what I
bookmark
love
that
about
for
him.
later? Thank you. Not saying
And-
anything else.
Okay. Stop it! You're gonna make me
Okay,
ask
you're gonna
her.
have to message me
No,
separately
and me
for that,
too.
because I legit don't remember. I don't even know what you're trying
Gee,
to say.
you wouldn't
No,
know. You wouldn't know.
Oh.
You're not allowed to message anybody.
No, she is. She's allowed to message me.
Oh, because it comes. Okay, got it.
Can you mime it for me?
Charades it. Oh, Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about
Wow!
Christmas?
10 points for Marge! Mining queen!
What happens at Christmas?
I don't know.
Sorry, not to cut you off. Continue us.
Why are all of these characters' parents such assholes?
Right?
It's the sign of
They're
the
all-
times.
Yeah, literally. It was a rough ass time. I mean, speaking of, you're actually, you know, moving us in the direction that I wanted to go, which is great. Thank you for that segue.
Welcome.
Because Lillian's parents, so first off, they mentioned, which I thought was very interesting, Mercedes, the Lillian's mom, mentions that even back in New York, they're from, right?
Yeah, they're from New York.
She mentions how even there they don't fit in. And they don't fit in to British culture either. Obviously, this kind of ties back to Simon. It obviously ties back to McKenna. You know, all these like figures. I feel like Lisa Kleypas loves to do this, where she brings in a character that fits in perfectly. You know, that has everything that everyone would want in that, you know, culture. And then she brings in a character who really doesn't fit and doesn't fit anywhere, you know. And it's kind of like that clash where they have to meet in the middle.
Yeah.
And one has to acclimate to the other's world type of thing,
Yeah.
and like ways and culture. So I just thought that was interesting because they are a very rich and powerful family. I mean, they are very, very rich American family. And yet, even then, they don't fit into
American society.
Yeah, they don't with the elite and everything. So that's interesting to me. And then the other thing, speaking of Mercedes, there's a scene where Sebastian meets Mercedes, and Lillian in her inner dialogue, she's like, oh god, like or I guess she literally says to Sebastian, actually, like, you're gonna hate this, like, don't do this, don't go talk to my mom, like, it's gonna be the worst idea you've ever had. And then he does, and it says that Lillian says that it's the first time that she ever gets a glimpse at what her mother must have been like before disappointment hardened her.
Yeah.
That's so sad to me. Because it just, because you asked, like, why are the parents like this? And I guess, like, this is part of it, you know? Like, Lillian, for her mom has always been, like, a power-hungry, money-hungry mama.
Miserable person
Who has this weird relationship with her father. And yet Lillian realizes in that moment she wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
What happened to her?
Something happened to her. Life happened to her. Life as a woman happened to her, you know, in the 1800s. Right. It's not fucking easy. And, you know, we talk often about how, like, these are the romance books, but think about all the characters on the sidelines. They're happy. They're not getting the happy ever after. You know, this is what happened to the parents.
We see the couples that fall in love and are like, they make the situation work.
Stop! It's making me sad.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I just thought that was interesting, and like, I feel like we all have that moment in our lives where, like, we look at our parents and we're like, you were young at some point. Like, you were young and wild and doing all the things. It was an interesting scene, and like, especially for a character like Lillian, who actually really doesn't feel close to her mom at all.
No.
I feel like that was a moment of like sympathy, you know?
But speaking of mothers, bringing it back to like Westcliff's mom, like, she was also, like you said, not there. She was very neglectful. She like was just never there for her kids, and like, I feel like that obviously had an impact on Olivia, on Aline, on Marcus. And like, Marcus is known to be like this very dutiful, like, follow the rules type of guy, and then like, he kind of has a moment where he thinks, I have it like mentioned, where like, though he despised the role of martyr and had never cast himself in that light, he cannot help but reflect that for most of his life his own needs had gone largely unaddressed as he had shouldered his responsibilities. Now he had finally found a woman who offered all the warmth and enjoyment that had been so long overdue. And like, it's just like, it's so sad that like, he didn't get that from his own family, the family that was supposed to love him and like care for him. And like, it's the same thing with like the whole situation with their parents in that time. It's just like, the circumstances of like their situation did not allow them, I guess, maybe to, you know, love their children in the way that I guess we know love from our parents. Like, we are very privileged in that sense.
I think back then, having kids, unfortunately, was just a way to like secure your bloodline.
Which I think, like, not to be the devil's advocate in this situation, because like, kill a fucking bitch, but
yeah, she is awful,
but you know, try to put yourself in her shoes, in the sense that her husband was disgusting with his own kids, so one can only assume he probably wasn't much better with his own wife.
Exactly.
It was a very strange marriage. Probably, you know, he was probably absent, and she was probably, I mean, she did seek out lovers, so that tells you something about what was going on between those two. Not much.
We're talking about
the Marcus's
mom, right?
mom. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think, like, there was probably like some kind of like festering hate, but also a deep-seated need for her to do the one thing that she's good to do, which is the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's her one job.
Yeah.
So
but she wasn't there to take care of Aileen. Like, she didn't do a good job.
She doesn't
she wasn't
care
there.
about her kids, but at the same time, like, that's what was expected of women at the time. they weren't supposed to raise their own child. They weren't supposed to raise their children, you know? So when you do get loving parents in historical romance, it's kind of, especially of women of her, status,
Yeah.
her place in society, forget about it. It's the nurses that are raising the kids. It's the governesses. It's not the mom.
Yeah.
So in a way, she was kind of doing what was expected of her.
Just have babies.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then why she lashes out and is holding on to the freaking bloodline so much, maybe it's, because of the fucking father. Like, I
And
don't
it's
know.
been ingrained in her. That's how she was raised
Right,
too.
like, that's what I'm trying to get at. It's maybe, like, that to her is the only thing that she's holding on, that she has left to hold on to
Yeah.
as her pride,
Well-
like, that's, yeah.
No, but like for sure, think about it. Like once your daughter marries the king or whatever, the mother of the queen is not. I mean, yes, you're the mother of the queen, but that doesn't make you any type of special. So like
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's doing these things to kind of keep herself in the picture and keep herself relevant. But just like Em said, like that's the last thing that she has. She has nothing else except this bloodline.
And I also think it's also very basic in the sense where, like, she wants her son to marry, a blue blood, like someone of nobility, because her own two daughters didn't. They married Americans, and, like, the bloodline is not continuing with them. It's not even, like, being raised in any way. Like, she thinks, like, adding American blood is, like, dirtying
it.
her own blood. And, like, yeah, it's just very basic in the sense where, like, she's like, you can have your affairs, but, like, make sure your children are obviously of the nobility. And, like, she's known for that. She knows that, like, she grew up basically that way. Like, she probably saw her parents do it, and then the Countess herself does it with, like, she has her children, but she has all of her other affairs going on, like, in the background. So I just feel like it's just very basic in that sense, where, like, she just wants noble blood, and she doesn't get it anywhere.
Lillian, any monsters?
I just had, like, her stubbornness, but I also feel like that goes with Westcliff as well. But, like, I feel like for her, it put her in very dangerous situations, obviously the horse being one. And she kind of also doesn't want to be the first one to confess her feelings for Marcus.
So
And,
like her pride.
Yeah, she's very prideful, but also he is too. But, like, at that point, she didn't know that he loved her or anything like that. But he does believe that she favors, like you said, Sebastian's looks over his own. And, like, I don't know if it's because he didn't get any, I guess, words of, like, affection or, like, approval from her. I don't know. But I think her stubbornness could have been a monster. But he was also, like I said, stubborn, so.
All right. Are we ready to end?
Yep, episode's done. No ranking whatsoever. We are done.
Oh,
Girl,
that has been
Ooh,
an episode.
Actually, did we tell you, G, about this?
No.
We're ranking the characters.
Like of all the books or just this one?
All the books.
Of all the books we've read so far in this series.
But you didn't reread the
Yeah.
other ones, though.
So you guys go ahead, cause I would have to
Okay.
reread it. Yeah, no.
I'm ready. Can I go? Are we doing
Ladies first.
for my girls? I have starting from top to bottom or bottom to top?
Bottom to top.
Bottom to top, I have Annabelle, Livia, Aline, and then Lillian.
Okay. Literally copy and paste. That's my order as well.
Annabelle, Livia, Aline, Lillian. Agreed.
Okay. Same thing.
Agreed. For the men.
I have Gideon, McKenna, Simon, and then Marcus.
Okay. Mine is Gideon, Simon, McKenna, and then Marcus.
Okay, mine is... Fuck. This is where it gets hard for me.
No, for me it's next book. Next book is when it gets hard.
Definitely Gideon. Yeah. Gideon, Simon. Fine. McKenna, Marcus. Fine. See you next week. It might change.
I literally go in order of the books.
Okay.
So it's Gideon.
Because you don't know him.
Because I don't remember him. That's the thing. He's not memorable. Sorry.
No, he was pretty great.
So Gideon, McKenna, Simon, Marcus.
Speaking of which, if you're clicking on this episode and you have not yet listened to, I am losing my headphones, and you haven't listened to the first 2 episodes of the series, this read along, one of them on Again the Magic and the other one on Secrets of a Summer Night, please go ahead and do so, because
Highly recommended.
as if she's listened to them yet. Recommend it. 10 out of 10. Great. Yeah. Go out there and listen to them, because this is a series after all. So, for continuity's sake, go and listen to the other ones. All right. Let's end this episode. We've done the hard part. Now comes the easy part. Saying goodbye.
Wow.
I hope you enjoyed.
So, G, we know how she feels about us.
I
Yes.
hope you enjoyed this chaotic episode. I feel like everyone came for everyone's throat.
Especially the publishers of this book.
Right?
Yeah.
They came for us.
They're like, too much smut for S&M. That is it.
Prime.
S&M. I also love that that's the initials.
That's the pun. Yeah.
Anyways, hope you enjoyed it. You can find us if you have anything you would like to add or tell us, or you're enjoying the podcast and you would like to let us know. Feel free to reach us online. On Instagram, we are Romancing the Monsters Podcast. On Twitter, we are the RTM Pod. On Gmail, it's Romancing the Monsters Podcast at gmail.com. We're also on TikTok at Romancing the Monsters Pod. Yeah, did I say everything? Oh, YouTube. You can also search for the name of our podcast, aka Romancing the Monsters Podcast, on YouTube, and we should pop up. Feel free to subscribe as well, by the way. And if you want to follow me specifically, you can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at Foes and Lovers.
And you can find me on both Twitter and Instagram But This Book.
And you can follow me, Seth, on both Instagram and Twitter at Pros with Woes. And also, please feel free to leave us a rating or review on any podcast platform. It means the world to us. So please, if you have the time, do it.
And G, where can people find you?
You can find me on both Twitter and Instagram on Gabby is Booked.
And your business, please.
And I do have a small business where I make fandom-based t-shirts and accessories, and you can find that at Within the Magic on Instagram, on TikTok, and on withinthemagic.com.
All right. And if you love Gabby being on the podcast, maybe she'll be back eventually for something else. Maybe
Yeah.
the Hathaways in 2022. Maybe she'll be back for the Christmas novella. Who
Oh my
freaking
God.
knows?
Yes.
She'll be back.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, all right.
Bye.
Bye.